this is Dr. Dami and you're welcome to my YouTube channel. If you already know me, you know that I'm passionate about public health, young people's health and development, community impact, community development. And I'm really hoping that on this channel, I'll be able to share with you tips, ideas on how you can implement your big ideas, your big dreams, your little ideas that you have to make the world a better place, because that's also what I am passionate about. So today I'll be talking to you about how I started my community impact work. I hear a lot of people talking about the big dreams, the big ideas that they have, but then they're waiting for the perfect time to start. They're waiting for when they have all the money, when the stage has been set. But then, can I shock you? Wait for what I'm going to tell you in this episode. If you have not already done so, please like this video, comment, share, and please click on the notification button. Thank you. So I'm sure that you're wondering, my headgear, you're wondering what it is about. Well, if you're on social media, you already know what it is about. It's the Be Like Ngozi challenge. And so, don't you think I look like her a little bit? I mean, the headgear, then my spectacles, what do you think? Whatever. But then, really, we are so proud of Mommy Ngozi. She has done us proud. And we young people are really aspiring to be like her in terms of our career growth, career development, how much she has been able to contribute to our community, to Nigeria, and to the world at large. Yes, so Be Like Ngozi challenge. I'm in. I hope you're in too. So let's go into today's discussion, how I started my community impact work. Well, so before I talk about how I started my community impact work, I'm going to give you a little bit of background so you will know how I stumbled into it anyways. So I grew up in Lagos, Nigeria, in a community that's not such a really poor community, to be honest, but not a rich community as well. One thing was very typical in my community. Number one, there were lots of young people. There were lots of young girls who either were not going to school or were pregnant during teenage years, have children already, were domestic house help, just a lot of all of those kind of issues. You see children on the streets roaming about, not wearing clothes, their mothers are teenagers and all of that. And then I got into secondary school. It was not different at all. In fact, in my secondary school, there was almost not a term that at least we would not have one girl not resume with us because she already got pregnant and she could not continue with her education and all of that. So right then, I knew that this was wrong, and I always really wanted to help. Of course, what could a young girl like me do? We were different because even though my parents weren't so educated and so rich, we were comfortable, and we got that guidance from them, and so it helped us quite a bit. But even at that, as a young girl, I really wanted mentors. There were many times I really wish I could talk to people, but it wasn't really readily available. And so fast forward to when I got into the university. So I schooled in a state called Ogun State in Nigeria, and because my school operated as multi-campus, I schooled in three different communities all through my university days. Number one, I schooled in one community called Agoiwoye. It's a community in Ogun State. Another one was a community called Ikene, and then another one Shagam. So when I was in Agoiwoye, I spent about 1 year in Agoiwoye for my pre-medical courses. Something was very clear to me. This was a poor community. This was more like a rural community. There were lots of young people who really needed light in the sense that they needed people to talk to them, to tell them how things really could be, There were girls not going to school, getting pregnant as teenagers, abortions, and all of that. I thought it was only Agoiwe. Then I moved to Ikene, the same thing. I moved to Shagam, the same thing. And then I knew that something was wrong. And then I was already nursing the idea of, okay, what could I do and all that. I still could not figure it out. But then, I mean, even at that time, I just realized that I just always had those young girls around me. They were just always coming to my house with my friends. It was very easy for me to make friends with them. So at the point during my clinical training in Shagam community, there was ASU strike. Yes, I remember ASU strike. And the ASU strike was so protracted that I think it was about 6 months. I was tired, I was frustrated, I was angry, all of the negative emotions, you know. So I was at home that very day. I remember clearly it was 16th of January 2011. In fact, okay, so I remember because I wrote it down. And so I'm going to come back to why it's very important to write. Why it's very important to write. We'll come back to that. So that day, that morning, it was around 3 a.m. I was so angry. I had really tried to, you know, to gain admission into another school and all of that. It was just not working. I was angry at everybody, everything, you know. How could I be at home for 6 months and all that? And so that morning, I was just there. And, you know, in the middle of my frustration, something just dropped in my head. That, you know, instead of focusing on all of these things happening around you that you really don't have a control over, why can't you focus on the things that you can help in your community and all that? I'm a Christian, so I really believe in divine inspiration. I strongly feel that it must have been God putting the ideas on my head. And you know what? I jumped up. It was like my eyes opened suddenly. I picked my pen and my paper, and it was like something was just coming into my head and downloading, and you know, and I was just writing. And so right then and there, I conceived the idea of starting an NGO that would reach out to teenage girls, talk to them about a lot of all the issues that they might be going through and all that. So there, I mean, I got a few ideas of the name, but none of them eventually became the name of the organization. But then I got the motto for the name. I mean, the vision for the organization. The vision was going to be to raise girls into role model in the society. It was very clear. The mission was going to be to help girls to maximize their potentials, environments, and background notwithstanding. All of those were clear to me. And so with the excitement, we resumed back to school after the ASU strike was called off. And you know, I told my friends, Sarah, Busayo, Itunu, God bless you guys. And you know, I spoke with them, and you know, with excitement, I shared the idea with them and all that. I was expecting that they would just discourage me and tell me no. But you know what my friends did? They took it upon themselves. It was as if it was their idea, and they were like, damn it, let's do this, let's do this. And so we started. We did not register any organization. We just started. So the first thing we did, I remember, was breakfast with girls. So we decided that we were going to call girls to come, you know, every Saturday morning. You know, they were going to come. We would just talk with them. We'll have different topics we'll talk to them about. And so we printed small flyers. We went about the community to a few schools, and then we gave it to the girls. So the venue was going to be an empty sitting room in the apartment I was sharing with 2 other pharmacy students at the time. So we borrowed chairs from neighbors, from everywhere, and then we would arrange the chairs in the sitting room. I remember that our first meeting, about 20 girls showed up. And you know, we talked with them. I remember our first topic was around self-esteem and all of that, because those girls, even though they were in secondary school, they could not speak good English. Some of them had academic challenges, they had sexuality issues, family, just a whole lot of issues. So we started making friends with them. We started talking with them. I remember at the time, the Saturday breakfast meeting was once in 2 weeks. Then later it became once in a month. But you know what? We got close to these girls. They saw us as their mentors. They saw us as their go-to people. Up till now, I still have a relationship with a number of these girls, and they turned out really well, you know. So after breakfast and during breakfast with girls, if I remember, we started skill acquisition. Some of those editions we would do skill acquisition. I remember a particular one. It was my classmate Tayo, you know. Because she was really good with handwork and all that, we called her to come and teach the girls how to make bows and all of these fancy lady things. And you know, she did, and it was really fun. We were happy, we were feeling fulfilled, we were doing very well in our academics. It wasn't affecting us in any way. I remember also that because we were in the hospital community, we saw girls who needed medical help. I remember a particular girl who had burns. I mean, I think it was hot water poured on her body. Her mother was a very poor widow who could not afford the hospital bills. We would run around, raise hospital bills, you know, just help them. I remember another girl who was already expelled when we met her grandmother, and you know, we spoke to the grandmother and we got close to the girl, and the girl who wasn't even interested in going to school eventually went back to school after our friendship with her and all that. And you know, she pursued her education even up to tertiary level. There was another girl who was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, and up till now she's like my daughter, you know. We still relate with her, we still support her, we still help her, we still talk to her, encourage her and all of that. So that was how it started. We did not wait for when the stage was set. We were medical students. We did not have any income except our allowance. We were doing all of these things right from our allowances, you know, but we were so passionate. We were doing it with all joy. In fact, I remember in 2015. So in 2015, we felt that, okay, there were a lot of girls who were dropping out of school, and when we asked them, it was because they either did not have the money to pay school fees or did not have school, uniform, school materials and all that. So we organized back to school. The idea of back to school was to provide all of these school materials and for those girls to come, collect, and then go back to school. And you know, our plan was to reach out to 75 girls, but at the end of the day 150 girls showed up. What did we do? We tasked ourselves. You bring this. We spoke to our parents, a few people who believed in the things we were doing and all that. People contributed. We went to the market, bought all of those things, and we used an empty classroom in the school, and it was there. We were able to do it. The girls were happy, we were happy. And you know, that was it. You know, so those were the things we were doing. We were going to secondary schools. We would just walk into the principal's office. We would ask that we wanted to talk to the girls. They gave us, they allowed us. We talked to them. We tried, I mean, to inspire them. We tried to support them. We tried to help them. And so that was it. That was how it started. I cannot tell you how this little thing looks like on organized and all that we did, how much door it eventually opened for me, you know. And so we did not even register the organization until we left school. It was after we left school that we were able to now make some money and then register the organization, and then started putting a little bit of structure in the organization and all of that. Why am I saying all of this story? I'm saying it because that idea that you have in your mind, this is the time to execute it. You really don't have to wait till when you have all the money or when you can hire the expertise. I mean, myself and my friends, we were just young girls. None of us was experts in reproductive health or anything like that. We were just doing it with passion. And so you really don't need to wait for when you can hire a specialist or when you can register the organization or when you have one big grant. You can start with what you have. So at least a few tips that I will just quickly share with you before I go. Number one is the importance of writing down. I can tell you all of these stories with details of the date, the time, and you know, because I wrote them down. I would have forgotten if I did not write them down. From the beginning, from the conceptualization of the idea, I picked up my pen and I wrote it down. So write down the things that come to your mind. Have a book, have a journal where you write down all of these things. It helps implementation. Another thing is, don't do it alone. You have people around you who are willing to support you. Only if you share with them and you know, you let them buy into your vision, and they will be able to support you. It makes the work a lot easier. I cannot even imagine if I was doing everything all by myself, carrying all the load on my head. It would have been overwhelming, considering that I was even a student at the time. I didn't have so much money, but my friends were there. They supported me. Later, my parents also bought into the vision. My siblings, everybody bought into the vision, and they were able to support me. So that's the second thing. Don't do it alone. The third thing, document. Now, I already talked about document in terms of writing. Now, document in terms of pictures. I'm talking about all of these things, and I'm showing you pictures because we took pictures. Then we didn't have all the sophistication of big phones or cameras and all that. It was a little phones that we were using to take all of these pictures, but then we have the pictures to show as evidence of the things that we are doing, and so that we were doing. And so if later we need to access grants and they ask us what are the things that you have done, we can show them, oh, these are the pictures, these are this and that. So it's very important when you do any of this beautiful community impact. Yeah, I understand that you are doing it out of passion, but document it. It will go a long way to prove that you actually did it, because if it is not documented, trust me, it's not done. Although, yeah, the people that you did it for will always be grateful for it, which is a very, very good motivation, you know. But then take good pictures as much as you can and keep them. Organize these things well on your gadget, maybe your laptop and all that. Create a folder where you can keep all of these things. And finally, don't wait till when you have all of the money. Start from your own pocket. Ask yourself, what do I have? The little you have, do something with it. If you get friends and family to give you money, fine. Ask people for help, you know. If not, do with the little you have. In fact, sometimes you really don't need money to do all of these beautiful things, at least at the elementary stage. Sometimes you really don't need money. What you need is the passion, the will to do it, and just doing it all the same. And so that's that about how I started my community impact project. I hope that you've been inspired. I hope that with this little story that I've told, you'll be able to also get up and do it afraid or as a novice. Just do it. You learn on the job, you get better. You know, my next video, hopefully I'm going to try to show you a little bit of how these little steps that I took eventually landed me bigger job, bigger opportunities, and you know, it got better. So thank you once again. If you have not subscribed, kindly subscribe on this YouTube channel and click on the notification bell. Till I come your way next time, it's Dr. Dami, and bye-bye.